UFC Fight Night, Belal Muhammad versus Gabriel Bonfim. These are my full card predictions. I'm gonna get straight into it. Again, this is already very late. I need to get these out way earlier and quicker. I'll get it done. But just going into this really quickly, Belal's gonna come with the pressure. We all know he's gonna come with the pressure. He's gonna try to come forward and put the pace on Gabriel Bonfim and get takedowns early on like he always does. Get inside, get to the inside. Get behind his feints and his punches. Get takedowns behind his feints and his punches. A lot of 1-1-2s, a lot of straight punches. Get Bonfim back to the fence. Get his hands higher so he can get even deeper in on the shot. And Belal, he always attempts his takedowns like against the fence, and a lot of times he'll attempt a takedown against the fence, and the first shot might not be like super clean, unless, like I said, he gets the hands up and they're too late to react to that. Belal's just also so good at feigning and being unpredictable and when he's gonna shoot. And but there are a lot of times when guys defend, and especially recently. But what I was saying before, Belal always attempts takedown against the fence, and he won't get the first one, but he just does so well to adjust his hand position and his grip to adjust to go to the back or get a high crotch or something like that. But the one that he usually always goes to is a double leg, and he tries to get that grip under the butt and kind of lift and dump them like he was doing to Leon Edwards. And that was something that Angelosa was doing to Gabriel Bonfim, and he had some good success with that as well. I mean, it's just what Belal does. Is his favorite takedown, I would say, from what I've seen. And he just does super well to adjust his hand position to attempt another takedown. You know, if he doesn't get in on the first shot, he just does so well to advance to another position and just try again. But I would say though, when Belal does go to the ground, he doesn't have the best control. I would say that's where he kind of lacks. You'll see, maybe on the back he has his best control, but I mean that's where most guys have their best control. I just find he's a bit sloppy when he's trying to control on the ground, and he'll maybe be able to do it for a majority of the round, but guys will eventually get up and even reverse him. Leon reversed him so many times in their fight because he just got super sloppy, and even in other fights too. But yeah, that was something Leon had success with. In round 3, I remember he got to Belal's back and he stayed there for the entirety of the rest of the round. Even against Luque and even Wonderboy reversed him a few times as well to get back to his feet. And I think rather than get takedowns offensively, and because he's gonna be put on his heels and it's gonna be harder for him to kind of get a takedown, I think Bonfim will probably look to, when he's trying to when he wants to be on the ground, he's gonna look to reverse Belal, or jump the guillotine like he always does. But I feel like that's a bit risky. I don't think he's gonna end up getting Belal in a guillotine, so I just feel it's a bit risky. And he tried doing that versus Angelosa a few times and it just didn't go his way, so I think it's kind of a waste of time. But he does have a really good guillotine, and that could be one of his paths to victory. But But again, that and I think, going back to what I said before, that grip under the butt of the double leg, rather than the grip where you're kind of holding on to the back of the legs, it is gonna benefit him when defending that guillotine as well, because again, your head position helps you there. And as I said, Angelosa tried that same takedown, and Bonfim tried the same guillotine, but he couldn't get it because of the head placement. The head is a lot more closer to the body than it would be in that other grip. So that's another small detail that I think benefits him in not getting caught in that guillotine. But yeah, both Belal and Bonfim they're gonna have to deal with something that's kind of out of the ordinary for them, which is facing an opponent that wants to take them down. Belal has fought guys that have tried, but and like Gil Burns and Damian Maia in the past, and Bonfim had one with Angelosa, but they both defended super well in those fights. Or Bonfim against Angelosa, he got up very, very quickly. And just as a side note, I think, as I said, I think him jumping the guillotine is something that, like, it could cost him a round in this fight. Like, if you, especially for how close I think it's gonna be, I think that stuff can cost you a round. Like, if you jump a guillotine, you're unsuccessful, and then you end up on your back against Belal, and let's say like it's in even worse, in open space or something, which it probably won't be. It'll be against the fence, and you'll probably get up really quickly. But I'm just saying, that's as a side note. I don't think he should be jumping a guillotine, but because it could cost him a few rounds. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is that they've both been able to defend the takedowns or get up very, very quickly from them. So this fight could end up being, I see it like very clearly, where Belal is gonna attempt to take down Bonfim. Either gets taken down or he just defends, and he gets up very quickly, because Belal doesn't have great control. And even Bonfim, he hasn't allowed himself to get control down there either. Or Bonfim reverses him and controls him for a bit, but eventually. Sorry, another side note. Belal, people see Belal getting a bit of the upper hand in this because Belal does more damage in the ground, rather than Bonfim solely controlling him, which I think is a very good point. And going back to what I said before, they're gonna defend the takedown. Bonfim's gonna defend the takedown. He's gonna get back up. They're gonna end up in that clinch against the fence, and then he's gonna go to the knees, and then they're gonna break. I could just see it being this repetitive thing where that happens in multiple times throughout the fight. He loves the knees in the body, knees to the body, to the head, and yeah, they're gonna separate. They're gonna go back to the feet. They're gonna go back to what they're doing before, and when they get on the feet, I think this is very, very important. I think Bonfim is technically better than Belal on the feet. I don't even think that's a question. Belal is way more awkward, but I think Bonfim is gonna try to really, really use his jab and work behind his jab a lot more in this fight, and look for those combos off the left hook that he likes, left hook counter that he likes on the front foot or on the back foot. He always looks for that left hook. He has a lot of combinations that start and end with that left hook, like 3-2-3s or 1-2-3 or whatever. Bonfim has been way more single punch heavy and a lot more kick heavy, rather than punching in a combination like he used to before. But he has that ability, and I think he really, really needs to do it in this fight. Work off his jab and in his combinations. The low kicks are extremely, extremely important for Bonfim in this fight. In Gary, we saw landed a bunch of kicks on Belal, low kicks, oblique kicks, and it gave Belal issues. Nothing like super, super noticeably damaging to him. Like, it hasn't seemed to like really, really affect him that much, but it is a weapon that he's susceptible to, so Bonfim needs to do it, and it's obviously going to score him points throughout the fight, and it's very important. Luque even had success with those kicks in their second fight. But I think there's another kick too that I think both guys are kind of susceptible to, which is that high kick from that open stance. We know Belal is he always switches stance, especially when he's on the back foot, and he just also something he does on the front foot, so he can like make himself more unpredictable to shoot a takedown. But yeah, Leon, we obviously know he has a really good head kick especially in that open stance, the one he got Kamaru Usman with, and he was trying to land it on Belal in their first fight, and in their second fight in their first fight he actually hurt him with one, I believe, from what I remember, and then Belal in the second one almost got clipped with it. But that kick he has is so fast, dude, it's insane. Yeah, and I could be wrong, but I think even Luke landed it on Belal when Belal was turning southpaw, and for Bonfim, it's kind of this. He kind of has the same issue. Like Wonderboy was landing that left kick from that open stance too, and it stunned Bonfim a couple times. You could see, and it's probably the most I've seen Bonfim hurt other than the Dalby fight. But yeah, I would say. Side note, another one. Bro, I was watching that fight with Wonderboy and I was like, dude, Wonderboy still got it, man. Like he really hasn't been an easy fight for anyone. I mean, maybe Shavkat, but like even Buckley gave problems just because he has such a crazy style, and even Belal, he gave issues, bro. But yeah, he's so underrated. Like people are gonna be basing their prediction off of that Wonderboy fight, and that he should have lost the fight, which I think he should have. Like I genuinely think he should have. I had it Bonfim round 1 and Wonderboy round 2 and 3. I don't know how Bonfim won round 3 at all. Like he literally did absolutely nothing. But Wonderboy's a tricky guy, as I said, and Belal said that himself, that he's a very tricky guy to fight. We all know this. People are gonna do MMA math. They're gonna say you almost lost to this guy, so how are you gonna beat this guy who already beat that guy? But the MMA math doesn't work. Like we know this, you know. But yeah, man, I'm really torn on this one, to be honest. I think this is gonna be really really competitive. There are a lot of mysteries and big asks when it comes to Bonfim in this one. Still yet to go 5 rounds. This is the biggest and hardest fight of his career to date. Already has a loss and arguably should have had another. And Bilal's a beast, man. He's going to continue to come forward and put the pace on you. I think people are underestimating. I mean, they have no reason to believe in it, but I just think I personally think Bonfim's gas tank is gonna be able to hold up. Like I really do. He used to come out of the gates fighting at a high pace, and would just put combinations on guys. But since the Dalby loss, he's been a lot more patient come out, and he absolutely needs to be that way in this fight. I think in 3 rounders, he's looked pretty good at the end of the fights. People say the Angeloso one that he looked kind of gas. I don't think he did. I would say he looked more gas against the Wonder Boy. But again, that's a very awkward and weird style, you know. I didn't think he looked that gas against Angeloso. I just thought he fought at a good pace and he was just more patient, you know, working behind his jab and doing what he had to do. Like I wouldn't say he was like gassed. Like I didn't see it that way. But yeah, Belal. And another thing too, like Belal is on 2 losses and now 37. Like there's no better time for Bonfim to have a better matchup against Belal than right now. Like there's no better time for him to fight him. I don't see either of them getting a stoppage in this fight. Belal's last stoppage was against Sean Brady, and it was like a wrestler versus wrestler matchup. And hasn't been finished since the first Luque fight in like 2016 maybe. Never been subbed in his entire career. Bonfim has a lot of sub wins with high finish rate in his fights. Only gone to a decision 2 times. But I think it's pretty safe to say that this fight goes to a decision. And I know it sounds a bit crazy, but I believe Gabriel Bonfim is going to win a decision over 5 rounds versus Belal Muhammad. In a super, super competitive close fight, like 48-47, where some guys are screaming robbery and they're like, he should have won this round, he could have won this round. Because, yeah, Belal is good on the feet and he does well enough to hang with these guys, but it has been enough to get enough in the past for him to get some decisions like versus Luque, and that's the one I keep going back to. Like that's the one I compare a lot with that fight. That fight was competitive, man. Like it was. But I don't know. I could see Bonfim taking some rounds with the low kicks and the jabs and circling, obviously, and Belal's gonna look to counter with punches and with that thing he does, you know, just step out of range and go with like a little 1-2 and just slightly moves ahead to counter. But Sorry. And yeah, I think Bonfim is better technically. He's technically better than Belal on the feet. Like we all know this, yes. But and Bonfim does have flaws on the feet. Like what he does against the rest of the top of the division is a different story, and I'll talk about it afterwards. But yeah, he has flaws on the feet. You know, the way he gets backed up and he kind of circles kind of erratically to his left, and he keeps his chin in the air with his hands like super high. And Bilal's gonna get takedowns and get in deep on those takedowns because his hands are gonna be so high and he's gonna be too late to react in certain moments. But I said it before, they're gonna be competitive on the ground because Bonfim has the ability to get back to his feet. Belal doesn't have the best offensive BJJ, and more tries to control and land ground and pound, which I think is gonna edge him some rounds. You know, doing more damage than Bonfim is. I feel Bonfim is a lot more like just control rather than anything. And Belal does do damage, which is important. But I think Bonfim's gonna reverse him in rounds. Belal's gonna get sloppy, and they'll get to each other's back and control it for a little bit. They'll get up against the fence, and as I said, Bonfim, they're gonna get back up. They're gonna be in the clinch. Bonfim's gonna knee him to the head of the body. They're gonna break. Belal's obviously gonna try and counter off of something off of that. But yeah, Belal's a very smart fighter, man. He's a high level fighter. I'm not denying that at all. I think he's super overhated for no reason, you know. People just love to make fun of him and just talk shit about him. But yeah, I mean, he's been underestimated his whole career. And like I really thought I was gonna go with Bonfim on this one, or Belal with this one on this one, but yeah, it's crazy what a breakdown can do. But I do think the fight's gonna be really competitive, though. I just think it's the right place, right time for Bonfim, right matchup. So I'm gonna go with Bonfim by decision. I do not believe for a second when this fight got announced I would be saying that, like I said, but and maybe I've misread everything, you know. Maybe I'm dumb, but I don't know. I just have a feeling about this one, man. I'm confident. I'm like confident in that prediction. I am. But yeah, if Belal were to win, it's gonna come from being able to gas Bonfim out early with the pace and the pressure over 5 rounds, not stopping, moving forward, not allowing Bonfim in his space, and going to the grappling and the control and doing damage. But like I said, he doesn't have the best control, and I feel on the feet it's really simple what he throws, just a lot of straight punches, 1-1-2s, and his twos come looping a lot of the time, so they're easy to see. And I think Bonfim will get the better of certain rounds on the feet and do more damage with the jab, the combos, the low kicks, circle back to the center. But it's be able to get back to his feet. But it's gonna be a good one, you know. And Belal can definitely win. Like I said, I think I expect it to be really competitive. And you know, the cardio is a question, you know. But and the pace does worry me because it's an unknown. Like I said, and another thing. But I also don't see Bonfim getting a finish. You know, I would imagine I've seen a lot of people they're predicting Bonfim to either get they would say like an early finish is the most reasonable outcome if you were to win, which I would agree. But which I understand. I mean, I don't agree with, but I understand. You know, because I was thinking that at first too, but because it sounds crazy to say a decision win for him. But I just don't see him getting I don't see him knocking out Belal, or like other guys couldn't knock out Belal. Like I don't think he's going to knock out Belal and getting a submission over Belal. Like, yeah, that would be like maybe his best route. I would pick a TKO over Belal rather than a sub over Belal. Like Belal's never, like I wonder how many times Belal's been like actually sub attempted in his career. He's been knocked out one time. Like, Belal's a tough dude, bro. Like, he's super game every time. I don't see either of them getting a finish. If anything, it would be a TKO. I don't see a submission whatsoever, which is crazy to say, but I just don't see it. And, yeah. Like, the only way I could see Bonfim getting a sub is maybe Bonfim's on the back foot and he gets a takedown in open space and he has more time to work with and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Bonfim to win a competitive decision. Bonfim keeps saying he wants to knock. Bonfim has been saying he wants to knock out Belal, and like that doesn't really seem like something that makes you want to go 5 rounds. It's not something you would say if you're planning on going 5 rounds. But I mean, everyone says it, but that is a bit worrying. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Bonfim by in a competitive decision. But I'm excited, bro. It's a really good matchup. Really, really good matchup. I'm excited for that one. Brandon Allen versus Edmund Shahbazyan. Oh, sorry. Forgot to change my thing. Brandon Allen versus Edmund Shahbazyan. Allen, the true American, Canadian, Brazilian man, on a 2-fight win streak, beating RDR and Vittori. He really only lost to the top of the division. Always been at that mid-range of the middleweight rankings. Very solid fighter, very well-rounded, simple style on the feet. Has a submission threat. Had 4 consecutive wins by rear naked choke at one point in 2023, which is crazy. This is a massive opportunity for Edmund Shahbazyan to kind of leapfrog the entire division and get the biggest win of his career. Shahbazyan was very hyped at the start of his UFC career. Was with Rousey and their team's protege. And 20 years old, started with a lot of early KO wins and then ran into Blonde Brunson. If you know, you know. But then he fought Imavov and Hernandez, who were at the come up at the time. Then gets back into the win column, and everyone's like, oh, shoot, maybe he's back. But then had that loss to Mearshart, which he fumbled, like completely gassing himself out, trying to get a finish. Got taken down and got subbed. But just played right into the game of Jeremy Mearshart, one of his victims. But yeah, he's now recently gone back to form, you know, on a 3-fight win streak, 2 being by round 1 KO, TKO. Probably just now hitting his prime, you know. Trains at Extreme Couture in Vegas with Sean and Curtis. Like, if anyone's gonna know how to beat Brandon Allen, it's gonna be them. Allen comes out, you know, attempting takedowns from early, especially versus better strikers. Can get to the back in an instant. Technically really good on the feet. Has that dog in him too. There's been times where he's hurt in fights and he'll fire back with his own shots. And most of the time he'll do well to avoid and steer away from shots or get in and out of range after his combinations. But it's those moments where he stays in the boxing range too long, he's gone hurt. Versus Curtis, he stayed there and Curtis landed a short, powerful shot. Even in other fights too, Curtis and Strickland landed good 1-2s on the chin, and they hurt Brandon Allen badly. Both times Allen's been TKO'd were in round 2. Shahbazyan has really good boxing, super fast, has quick 1-2, strong jab, nice left hook, sharp counters. But I feel like the more the question is like, still is can he deal with like those grueling fights, you know, when he needs to like really dig deep. He just hasn't been able to. When they've mixed in the grappling like Hernandez and Mearshart, even Brunson too, like from the start of his losses, you know, it's the same thing, you know. How is he in round 2 and 3 now? Because he's gone tired and hasn't been able to get up from bottom. And Allen has that ability to take him to those deep waters, you know. Shahbazyan defended way better versus Petrosky, the takedowns, and he kept it on the feet and at a pace he prefers. And Shahbazyan attacked the body in that fight, and I think he will in this fight too. Shahbazyan has all the potential in the world, but it's just been the little things throughout his entire career that have come back to bite him. I think Shahbazyan has evolved and will learn from those mistakes and get this one done by TKO in round 2. It's bold, but I think he'll be able to land either a quick counter off of like a laser shot from Brandon Allen, or he's just gonna be like a 1-2 like straight down the pipe, and it's just like too quick because he's quicker than Brandon Allen. That's something. He's very quick, and he's powerful. He has that power. I don't see Edmund Shahbazyan win a decision whatsoever. Honestly, like I'm pretty like certain that there's a finish in this one, to be honest. Whether it's Edmund Shahbazyan getting a TKO like I'm saying, or Brandon Allen gets a late sub. Like, I see a late sub for Brandon Allen. Like, that's another thing too. I see that, dude. That's why I'm kind of worried. but cause it's bold. It's really bold. Like I'm not gonna lie, it's bold. But I want to see it happen, man. I want to see Shahbazyan finally get his big win. You know, it's just been a long time coming. I don't know if this is gonna be the one, but it's a big step up, isn't it? It's a massive opportunity. You couldn't ask for anything more. Yeah, this is a chance to leapfrog the entire division, and yeah, it's gonna be crazy. I'm excited, but I'm gonna go with Edmund Shahbazyan. But I am worried. I'm worried for Ziam versus Tom Nolan. Ziam's good, man. Ziam's on a 6-fight win streak. His last loss was to Terrence McKinney by submission in 2022. Three of his four losses have come by rear naked choke. Three of his four losses have come by rear naked choke in round one. But Ziam has continued to evolve, has that TKO and sub wins throughout his career. I think his wins are overall better than Nolan's. And Saudi Kav and Mike Davis, they're pretty solid wins. Nolan on a 4-fight win streak, coming off the first submission win of his career over Charlie Campbell. His only loss came in his UFC debut by to Nicholas Mota by TKO. But even Nolan, he's gotten better since that loss. All of Nolan's finishes have come within the first 2 rounds. Both guys are going to be dealing with something that they're not used to, and that's fighting guys that having to fight like another tall and rangy fighter. I think Ziam is technically very good everywhere the fight goes. Stays at range, uses length with the jabs, the kicks, always mixes in the grappling, defends takedowns really well. Always looks for the shots out of the clinch. And off the clinch break with those elbows and the knees, Nolan, a southpaw, has really slick striking. Kind of reminds me of like Corey Sandhagen a little bit. Like just in like the way that he looks, and like I'd say minus the movement, but I mean more like with his kicks and like the knees that he likes to throw. But yeah, he has good hands too, but he does tend to get caught in the close range. He's been hurt many times. Been hurt a few times. I don't see how Ziam loses this one, to be honest. I think he's better everywhere the fight goes. More calculated. He's beating good guys that were outside the top 15, like I said before, and he has the better wins. Nolan's wins, I don't think are like I don't really think they're the best, to be honest. He had that one over Charlie Campbell, okay, and then he had the one over Barshow, which is he's not even in the UFC anymore, I don't think. Could be wrong. But yeah, I could see Ziam getting a TKO win. A lot of the times Nolan will come in with a punch combo and guys will counter him with like a 3-2 down the pipe because he's a southpaw and he's like lined up straight for it. And like in that Mota fight and even Campbell fight, he got hurt many times. He's just been hurt so many times, I could see Ziam doing the exact same, or he's going to win a decision, but I'll go with Ziam to win by TKO in round 2. But like he is very patient when he's trying to get a finish, so maybe he just like doesn't force it and then he goes to a decision anyway. But yeah, Ziam, I don't see how he loses. I'm going to go with Ziam. I'm going to go through these a lot quicker. Bryce Mitchell, Santiago Luna. I'm going with Santiago Luna to get it done, dude. But this is now Bryce Mitchell's second fight at bantamweight. But I think I thought he looked good against Said Nurmagomedov. Just uses grappling, didn't really do much damage, just more control. And Luna, he even in these first 2 UFC fights, he's had to overcome like a bunch of adversity already, and he's already like gaining a bunch of experience and knowledge from those 2 fights. In the first one versus Quang Lee, he had to like overcome adversity. He got knocked down early in the fight, then he came back to win by KO as well. And in the second fight, he went to a decision, which he had never gone to a decision before. That's really important, man. especially in the fight versus Bryce Mitchell. You know, he's 21 years old, 10 years younger than Bryce Mitchell. Dude, I think he's going to get this one done. Like, because Bryce Mitchell is good. Like, he's very good on the ground. And obviously Luna, I think you've seen it every fight. He's continued to evolve, and especially in his striking. I remember, compared to his Kwang Lee fight, I remember in the Pacheco fight, I was like, his striking looks so much better than it did before, you know, and that really impressed me. But he's so young. He's going to continue to evolve, and he took this fight on short notice, and he obviously believes in himself because this is a really, really big step up. But, you know, this is Bryce Mitchell at bantamweight. And even at featherweight, yeah, he lost to, like, some of the best guys in the division, but tell me, like, what is his best win at featherweight? Like, Dan Ige? Like, it's no disrespect to Dan Ige, but I'm just saying, like, you look at where Dan Ige is now, and it's just like hasn't really like hasn't aged well, you know. And I think the fight, like Santiago Luna and himself, he's a wrestler, and Bryce Mitchell's very high level in the grappling. I'm not denying that, but I think Santiago Luna is going to be able to keep this fight on the feet, and I think he's better in the boxing. You know, Bryce Mitchell's just a lot more kick heavy on the feet. And I think he's going to get the better of him. I think he's going to win this fight, man. Even on the scale, Bryce looked really bad, you know. I thought he's really struggling with the cut to 135. And that could be a factor too. Maybe we end up seeing Santiago Luna getting a KO win. Maybe. But either way, I see Santiago Luna winning this fight. I'm going to stick with screw it, bro. I'll go with a KO win. I was going to say decision, but screw it, bro. We'll go with TKO. I just think he's better in the boxing. He's better in the boxing, even though he is still very green to it and he's evolving. But I think he's better than Bryce Mitchell in the boxing. The kicking game, Bryce Mitchell, I mean, it's really all he does on the feet, so I'll give it to him. And I think I think Luna's a wrestler too, you know. I think he's going to be able to get up. Or I'm wrong and Bryce Mitchell just controls him for a few rounds, but I think eventually Santiago Luna is going to catch him with a shot, and, you know, he's shown to have pretty good power, so, yeah, I'm going to go with him to win. I think he's going to really put his name out there and, like, really show himself as, like, a really, really, really good prospect. You know, 21 years old, it would be the biggest win of his career, so I'm going to back him to get it done. My brother, Iwo Baraniewski versus Junior Tafa. I'm going with Iwo. Like, to me, it's not even a question whether it's a TKO or submission. Either or. Could see either one, to be honest. But, you know, bro, this guy has so much potential, I think. Like, he comes from a judo background, and, you know, he had a lot of submissions at the start of his pro career, but when he joined the UFC, he's just been getting TKO against some pretty good guys, you know. Like, Ibo Aslan, I feel, is a pretty good win in a way, I guess. But, you know, these two are knockout artists, Tafa and Baraniewski, and it's obviously, if they're exchanging combinations, it's going to be dangerous for both of them because they both have power. This fight's not going past the first round. I just think Iwo's better. Like, even if it does happen where the fight, like, kind of somehow lengths out, it's not going to, but Iwo just has so many more ways to win, you know. He can finish him. He can maybe end up hurting Junior Tafa, and then he'll jump on a submission, submit him, or whatever. But, yeah, I got Iwo winning. But respect Junior Tafa, though. And as I said, he has power. They both have power. Anything can happen if they're exchanging. And, you know, he stepped in on short notice to take this fight, and he made the weigh in. I respect him, dude. Like, he's coming into a matchup, too, that, like, it doesn't benefit him at all. So, yeah, respect him to that. But I think Ewo's going to win that one. Man, Schnell and the Costa. I'm going with Costa, man. I've seen Matt Schnell get TKO'd like so many times in his career, and like he's only getting older. Alessandro Costa has lost to some pretty decent guys at flyweight. Steve Urseg, even Almir Abazi, he was ranked. Yeah, I think Costa's just better, man. Like I've said this before. I think like Costa reminds me a lot of like a Ricky Simone with just like less power and better kicks. Just even like the way he looks a little bit too. But yeah, I think there's so many ways Alessandro Costa wins this fight, and I think like a big factor is just like Alessandro Costa is very good, and I think he will be ranked eventually in this division. And I just think Matt Schnell, just as I said, I've seen him get finished so many times in his career, and I believe all of his losses have come by like they've all come by finish. I believe so. Yeah, I just think Costa's better than him. It's as simple as that. I'm going to go with Costa to win by round 2 TKO. I think the first round's going to be kind of like a feeler round. And then second round, Costa will find a shot and put him away. But yeah, I'm going to go with Costa to win this fight. Snell just had like a really up and down career, UFC career, to be honest. And you would probably say like his best win was the one over Sumi Darji, which was a crazy win. It was a crazy, crazy fight, that one. Costa's just better, man. He's better. He's younger. He got it done. Marcus Mcghee versus Yannis. I'm going with going with Marcus Mcghee. I think he's better. You know, he's fought at a higher level than Yannis. I think he's gonna show that Yannis isn't even close to on his level. I know he's 36, but still, man, he's still not on his level. It's a massive step up for Yannis, and it would be a big win if he were to somehow get it done. But Marcus Mcghee is way more experienced, he's fought the better opposition, you know, had that fight with Piotr Jan. I was surprised when he got the opportunity, but I don't think he showed that bad for himself, you know. I thought he showed pretty decent. I mean, Jan did show levels, but I don't think it was that bad of a showing. He had moments of success, and versus Jonathan Martinez, he won that fight pretty well. He was just being very, you know, what he always does, you know, using his movement, off tempo movements, feints, and using his boxing really well, his kicks, and his movement is just what makes him hard to hit, and he's just very unpredictable in his the way that he, you know, lets his offense go. And I just think he's better than John Yannis. Like, John Yannis he has pretty good boxing and he has good power in his hands, but it's nothing that Marcus Mcghee hasn't seen before, you know. I just think Marcus Mcghee is gonna find he's gonna find the finish. He's gonna find a knockout. And yeah, I think Marcus McGee's he's pretty good, man. He has a really unique style, and he makes guys. He kind of draws guys like into his fight, you know. And I think even guys that Marcus Mcghee has beat in the past, like Gaston Bolaños. Like, I think Gaston Bolaños kind of fighter could beat a John Yannis, you know. Maybe that's kind of crazy, but I'm just saying, like, I just don't think he's on his level yet. So I'm going with Marcus Mcghee by TKO. Bruno Silva versus Edgar Chairez, my brother. Let's go, brother. I cannot wait for this one. I'm backing my boy Chairez to get it done. I think he's gonna win, dude. I think he's gonna win a decision. I think he's gonna be really competitive. They're both like pretty well rounded in their own right. Bruno Silva is kind of he's just good wherever the fight goes, and he has power in his hands. Chairez has really good boxing on the feet, but he has more wins by submission, you know. He has a variety of different submissions too, like over the span of his career. So many different sub wins, like guillotines, rear naked chokes, like Darces, triangle choke, like bunch of different submissions, you know. And he's obviously on a win streak, and he's only lost to some of the best guys in the division. I mean, Bruno Silva too, but Chairez lost to Taita in his UFC debut, who just fought for the belt, and Joshua Van, who was the champion. He had a pretty good fight, really good fight with him at Sphere. I know it was for short notice for Van, but it was still a very good fight. Bruno Silva lost to Joshua Van as well, to Manel Kopp, and you know, they're kind of in the same spot, but Chairez is, you know, looking to get his first, to be ranked for the first time in his career. I think it's gonna happen. I could see him winning a decision. I think it's gonna be, they're gonna equal each other out wherever the fight goes, and I think Chairez is just gonna be better on the feet, but I think it's gonna be very competitive, very, very competitive fight. I'm gonna go with Chairez to win by decision. Vamos, hermano, let's go. Cannot wait for that one. Just gonna go through these very, very fast. I'm going with Cachoeira to win by KO or decision. I honestly do not care about this fight. I could not care less. Jordan Leavitt versus Jonathan Brito. I'm going with Jordan Leavitt. I think, we've seen Jonathan Brito get kind of, he got Pat Sabatini'd in the past. I think Jordan Leavitt could do the exact same, take him down, control him. I just hope that he's focusing more on doing more damage than just solely controlling. Because you saw versus Yadir Del Valle, he was just like taking him down, controlling him. And you know what Jordan Leavitt's going to do if you're Jonathan Brito. He's going to try to take you down from early, get a single leg, and get you down. But yeah, I think Jordan Leavitt, I think he's going to be able to do the same thing Pat Sabatini did to him. I think Leavitt just needs to focus, like I said, on doing damage and anything, because that could lose him around if they do end up getting back up. And Jonathan Brito lands like a good shot or something. Or like Brito's being active on the ground. And Leavitt just needs to be careful to like not get caught in like a sneaky little submission from Brito, because he does have those. But I'm going to go with Jordan Leavitt to win by decision. I think he's going to be able to get it done. Chaves versus Duben. I'm going to go with Chaves. I think she's already like, I just think she's way more like, she's more experienced, and like wherever the fight goes, if it goes long or if it's short, it just benefits her more. She has that more experience. Duben's like, I believe, has 100% finish rate in all of her fights. So there's that, and I just think Chaves is better. So I'm gonna go with Chaves to win. Souza Carnelossi. I'm gonna go with Souza to win by decision. I think decision, KO, either one. I go with decision. I think she's just better, and decision for the last one as well. But yeah, those are my focal predictions. Let me know what you thought down below.